Last week, a photo went viral across the entire internet. Millions of people saw it. A leaked image, supposedly showing President Trump meeting with unknown figures, tall, platinum blonde, in bright red uniforms. The internet exploded. Was it real? Was it fake? Who are these people? Fact checkers eventually confirmed it was AI generated, a hoax. But here's what nobody talked about. Why did so many people immediately think these figures were from Agartha? Because deep down, millions of people already know the story, and they believe it. Today, we're not here to discuss a fake photo. Today, we go deeper. Because the real Agartha files, the ones governments actually buried, are far stranger than any AI image. Let's start from the beginning. The idea of a hidden civilization beneath our feet is not a modern conspiracy theory. It is ancient. Let's start from the beginning. In Hindu and Tibetan Buddhist tradition, there exists a sacred underground realm, a place of enlightened beings, a civilization that predates our own. In Tibet, it is called Shambhala, a city of perfect wisdom, hidden somewhere in the Himalayas or beneath them. For thousands of years, monks and scholars wrote about it. Entire religious texts described it in detail, not as a metaphor, as a real place. The inhabitants, ageless, wise, technologically advanced beyond anything on the surface. And then, in the 19th century, the West discovered this idea. A French occultist named Saint-Yves d'Alvedre wrote a book claiming Agartha was not just a myth, it was a real underground kingdom governed by a supreme ruler he called the Sovereign Pontiff of Agartha. He claimed the civilization had hundreds of millions of inhabitants, that they possessed technology centuries ahead of the surface world, and that they were watching us. Most people dismiss this as fantasy, but some people took it very, very seriously, and those people would change the course of history. It is 1935. Adolf Hitler is consolidating power across Germany. His second-in-command, Heinrich Himmler, is obsessed, not just with politics, with the occult. Himmler founds a secret organization called the Ahnenerbe. Officially, it was a research society, but its true purpose was to find the origins of the Aryan master race. And according to Himmler's doctrine, those origins were in Agartha. He believed the ancestors of the Aryan people had come from this underground kingdom, that they were beings of superior intellect and physical perfection, and that by finding Agartha, the Nazis could harness powers that no army on earth could defeat. In 1938, Himmler sends an expedition to Tibet. Led by a scientist and SS officer named Ernst Schaefer, the mission travels deep into the Himalayas. They measure skull dimensions. They document local customs. They search for entrances. Official records say it was an anthropological mission. But Schaefer's personal correspondence tells a different story. He writes about ancient texts, about monks who speak of hidden tunnels, about a passage beneath the earth that leads to another world. The expedition returns to Germany in 1939. Whatever they found, or didn't find, is never made fully public. The files classified. Here's where it gets stranger. After Germany began losing the war, rumors began to circulate among Allied intelligence officers. The Nazis, they said, were not just searching for Agartha. After Germany began losing the war, rumors began to circulate among Allied intelligence officers. The Nazis, they said, were not just searching for Agartha. They were building escape routes into it. Hitler's underground bunker, the secret bases in Antarctica, the submarine routes to the South Pole. Some historians have dismissed all of this as mythology. But then came Operation Highjump, and nothing would be the same again. But then came Operation Highjump, and nothing would be the same again. The United States Navy announces a massive expedition to Antarctica, its official name, Operation Highjump. The scale is staggering. Nearly 4,700 military personnel, 13 ships, 33 aircraft, the largest naval force ever sent to the southern continent. The mission is commanded by Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, America's most celebrated polar explorer, a national hero. Officially, the mission's goals are simple: establish research stations, map the terrain, train for cold weather operations. The mission was scheduled to last 6 to 8 months. It was abandoned after just 40 days. No official explanation was ever given that fully satisfied investigators. But in March 1947, Admiral Byrd gave an interview to a Chilean newspaper called El Mercurio. In that interview, he said something that stunned the world. The United States should adopt measures of protection against the possibility of invasion by hostile aircraft coming from the polar regions. The astounding speed with which this new world can be mobilized is an alarming factor that we must take into serious consideration. Hostile aircraft from the polar regions in 1947, when no nation on Earth had a military base in Antarctica. After that interview, Byrd was called back to Washington. He was debriefed extensively. He never spoke publicly about the expedition again. What did he encounter in Antarctica? What did those aircraft look like? Where did they come from? The official answer: we don't know. But conspiracy researchers have spent 80 years pointing to one answer: Agartha. Here is a fact that most history books skip entirely. In 1513, a Turkish admiral named Piri Reis drew a map. That map showed the coastline of Antarctica in precise detail. Antarctica was not officially discovered until 1820, 300 years after that map was drawn. How did Piri Reis know? He claimed his map was based on even older sources, documents from ancient civilizations that no longer existed. Mainstream historians say it was a coincidence, a misidentification of South America. But there's something else. In 1935, a German scientist drew what became known as the most detailed diagram of Agartha ever produced. It showed a hollow Earth with two openings, one at the North Pole, one at the South Pole. This diagram was studied seriously by Nazi leadership. And then, in 2016, a declassified CIA document surfaced online. It described a theory of the hollow Earth in detail. It mentioned possible tunnel systems connecting multiple continents. It referenced ancient maps. The document was real. It was from the 1960s, and it had been classified for 50 years. Why would the CIA classify a document about a theory they considered fiction? Let's come back to where we started. That viral photo, the one that spread to every corner of the internet in days, it was fake. We know that. But ask yourself this: why did millions of people look at tall, unusual figures standing next to the president and immediately think, Agartha, not aliens, not CGI, not actors, Agartha? Because the story never died, because it keeps resurfacing, because something in it feels true to millions of people around the world, across cultures, across centuries. The Nazis sent expeditions to find it. The United States Navy sent 4,700 men and 33 aircraft to a continent and came back early, terrified of something in the sky. The CIA classified documents about it. Ancient maps showed a continent nobody was supposed to know about. Is Agartha real? The scientific answer is no. The Earth is not hollow. We have the data. But the question that nobody has answered is this: if it's not real, why have governments been so afraid of it for so long? That question has no easy answer, and that is exactly where the truth usually hides. If you made it this far, thank you, genuinely. Subscribe to Dark Lens, because every week we go places other channels are afraid to look. The next video? Even darker. Don't miss it.